We got Oyabun on the radar today. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Yo, what's good?
You got a big couple weeks coming up.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So let's just dive into that because we were talking about it off camera. You got a new single dropping tomorrow.
Yeah. So tomorrow, Stranger Things, the single off of my LVRBOY project comes out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be exciting.
Is there
technically midnight, I guess.
Did you name it? Well, by the time people see this, it'll be like midday tomorrow. So
yeah.
So the song is out.
Yeah.
So the song is out. So did you name it Stranger Things like on purpose because of October? Or...
It's funny. When I had made the record, it was around the time the first or second season of Stranger Things had came out.
Great.
So like
show.
basically, the production of the song is just reminiscent of like how the production is on the show. So like the show, I kind of like I'm a little bit of a geek with there's I forgot what their names are, Kyle and Matt Dixon, or the guys that do the soundtrack for the show. But they're into like really like synthwave type music, so
like 80s kind of,
exactly.
like 80s.
Yeah, and it
90s-ish.
also played into even like kind of how 808s and Heartbreaks is, like a lot of the tops. We kind of ran with that for that song. Yeah. Got you.
Yeah. I was gonna say what's dope about that song is I think someone had like put a Childish Gambino like lyrics over the beat of the song or something like that.
Oh shit.
And I always kind of like respect like what they do with the soundtrack because it's so different and dope. So it's kind of dope to hear that you're doing that with
they have
your
one of the
single.
best. They had one of the best. I actually have the soundtrack on my phone.
Oh really? You like download it?
I don't download soundtracks.
One of my homies has it on like vinyl too.
Yeah,
like you can get the entire
an amazing
thing.
Soundtrack. Like,
that's dope.
The first season soundtrack for Stranger Things is like that's out of this world. If you sit there and just zone out, it's kind of like it's sick.
So is it kind of like it's gonna be like kind of trippy sync vibes coming from the song?
Yeah, because basically the whole from there it kind of just evolved into a bunch of other stuff for the project. So it kind of it's supposed to kind of like bring people into this world.
Right.
So it's a little bit different than like how I guess like a lot of songs are kind of being composed at the moment. But that's what kind of the cool thing was about it.
That's dope. So new project coming out next week, LVRBOY.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the similar sound we're gonna be getting from that, or they're gonna be like kind of like different types of sounds you're experimenting with on the album?
Pretty much. There's a cohesive sound, but the cohesive sound is experimental.
Right.
So it varies from. I mean, the root of the project itself is still like always gonna be rap.
Right.
But I would feel that this time around, me and my producer Lemieux, we've got to play with rock more, bring those type of elements into the music.
That's dope. Because rock is such a big part of hip hop now.
Yeah, and it was a big part of even what we were trying to do at the time too. And then also just alternative indie music, just kind of the elements that we liked about that. Just to keep it from being. You just keep it fresh, honestly.
Right.
Something that people could say like, "Yo, I haven't heard this before," or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much
I was listening to some of your music this morning. Specifically, the one that I ended up playing a lot was 3 a.m.
Yeah, facts.
Don't ask me why I was playing, but I got like some real kind of like dope, like Travis Scott-ish, Kanye West vibes from it. And when you were speaking about 808s and Heartbreaks, I was like, oh, he got it. So do you kind of like look to their musical styles, like especially with this album? And I know when people, this is also kind of like a side question to that, I know when people drop albums in October, going off the Stranger Things vibes, they kind of add like a little bit of like mystery like type of like sound to it, like a little like something like darker a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So did you kind of like incorporate that on this new project?
I feel like a lot of my music usually has more of a darker tone to it. I think I may be just making a lot of the music during the winter, because I think even when a lot of these records were cut, it was free. It was during that time. So and especially just being in New York, it's just kind of always like that.
Especially when it's cold for like 70% of the year.
Exactly. For most, literally like, so like this is probably the longest summer we've ever had. But yes, even as far as like inspiration wise, Kanye was like probably the influence of the sound for like this project. And then like some of the stuff that I have out, I kind of teeter between like my two favorite like artists right now, like Travis Scott and The Weeknd. So I kind of like try to play like that fine line between them.
Yeah, and, some real fall vibes.
Yeah, and that's kind of like pretty much what my sound is.
Right.
And this project though, I kind of wanted to. Like it was supposed to be just more conceptual,
right?
So like I would say like the closest thing to kind of explain it would be like how 808s and Heartbreaks is, but just a notch up, like we weren't doing it to like, oh yeah, like we want it to be like this, but it was in the back of our minds, just certain things, just like how some of the drum patterns may be, or just certain things that we were willing to, even stuff off of if I'm not mistaken, Yeezus, because there's certain projects that Kanye used, like, for instance, like a lot of African and tribal drums.
Right.
We brought a lot of that.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I think it was Yeezus, because Yeezus, I felt like, was like not his most experimental, but it was like his kind of like how 808s was like his experimental album between you know, the previous album and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like Yeezus was like Yeezus was of course it's everybody's like in their like top 10. But Yeezus was like his experimental album before, you know, Life of Pablo and like his new shit.
If you listen to Yeezus for like, I don't know, like maybe content, maybe you may not get satisfied, but I think on a production level, Kanye he doesn't really disappoint when it comes to stuff.
Right, like Blood on the Leaves was like one of the craziest like fall songs that and Can't Hold I think it's Can't Hold My Liquor. I don't think Can't Hold My Liquor.
Yes.
Yeah, the one with Chief Keef, right? Yeah, dope.
So yeah.
That's like the type of vibes you was going for. Yeah. That's dope. So I want to talk about how you know, shout out to your people, because your people gave me the whole list of like everybody you've opened for. So I'm just gonna like I'm gonna name a few. So Rick Ross, Meek Mill, Jay Critch, Travis Scott, and you performed at the first Rolling Loud, which is now probably like the biggest fucking hip hop festival, and now it's like traveling and
kind of wild,
and all that. So like, I specifically want to ask you, what was it like to be at the first Rolling Loud? You know, like
it was.
Because at that point, what was that, like 2016 or 2017?
Shit.
Probably like 2016.
Maybe 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want to say that.
Was it like a very experimental festival at the time, or?
It was. Dope E&T, who is like ended up becoming like what Rolling Loud is, that company. They threw a lot of shows in Florida, so it kind of was like they were the main people bringing acts to Florida as far as like touring. But when they did the festival, it kind of put just even Miami and like that city just in a bigger just space. I think they were trying to do what they were doing with Ultra.
Oh yeah.
In the EDM festival. I think Tark and his partner.
Because like I think it's Ultra and what's the other one? EDC. They do in a bunch of different cities.
So that's like the culture of what Miami was for a very long time. And I mean, as far as just like the festival culture, I mean, Miami has its own music culture that doesn't honestly get showcased enough when it comes to mainstream music.
I feel like it's getting more showcased now because a lot of them are SoundCloud rappers and stuff like that.
But that helped to do with that kind of became a thing out of these festivals and out of these shows and these type of things, like, because I think Tark's vision was to be able to bring these big artists to the city, and then also now have artists from the city open up for these bigger artists, which is like how me and a lot of other people fell into those situations, even with Rolling Loud, because I mean at that time Extension was opening up for Denzel Curry at the first Rolling Loud. You know what I mean? So like that gave him now a platform. And then at the time, you know, Denzel got to have his own platform. You know, Puya, all of that type of stuff was going on. While Young Thug was also performing that night.
I see them doing that in LA now too, because they have like SOB, RBE. Yeah. And there was this other singer from this other rapper from LA that I saw at Yams Day last year at the ASAP concert, and I didn't know who he was, but he was from LA, and he's also like one of the openers there. So I think that's kind of cool how they were doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it helps, like, especially when it comes to festivals. Like, you could put up a stranger in front of, like, you know, a few 100,000 people that don't know him. But fortunately, the people that are at these festivals are there as fans, first and foremost. You know what I mean? So they're there to receive whatever the fuck you kind of put in front of them.
Right. So you opened up for Travis Scott too in Miami, right?
Oh, actually,
was it not Miami? Oh, in Tampa. My bad.
And that was another Dope E&T show.
Really?
Where, like, they basically, that was their baby before they really went with the first Rolling Loud. So they had something called I don't remember what it was, the Hangar, something, they forgot what it was called.
Were you living in Miami at the time, or were you? Oh, okay, got you.
I was between there and Palm Beach.
Okay, got you.
So that was, and then all this stuff was pretty much driving distance, you know. So it was cool. But yeah, that show was in Tampa, and Travis, Action Bronson also performed that.
Really?
Night. Yeah.
So what was it like opening up for Travis? Was like,
it was crazy.
This was like what, 2017, or was it earlier this?
It was a little bit earlier. It might have been the same, maybe the same year that the Rolling Loud thing was, or maybe like within those 12 months, depending on where
after Rodeo, before Astroworld.
It was definitely before
Astroworld.
Yeah. I guess we could be talking about maybe days before Rodeo days, or maybe Rodeo might have been out.
Right.
Yeah, but that nothing past that.
Got you. So before you mentioned that you're experimenting with rock on this new album, and I know you have like R&B and you have hip hop all involved, and you know something that I've talked about with some of my guests and other people like in the industry is like what do you personally like categorize your music under, because there's like so many things. I've had people tell me that they literally say that their music has no genre.
Yeah.
I have other people tell me that they categorize their music as urban pop, which is kind of like mixing urban pop and like rock music together. Like, what would you kind of like describe your sound, or what would you call like your music?
I think first and foremost, my dog T-Pain helped me out, actually. He described himself as like a rap singer, a rap singer. And to be honest, it was something that I kind of like, I kind of agree with too, or at least like I kind of sync with, where it's just like, I like to just play lines, as far as just like, if I decide to rap a verse and then sing the chorus, or if I decide to rap like chorus and sing the verse, I just never really wanted to kind of be in a box.
Yeah.
And even with the genre thing, it's complicated because I have very like, I have opinions and strong opinions about genres, and like I feel like genres are very restricting. Like if my project's a rap project but it has too much rock elements, does it make it not a rap? It's
kind of like what they did with like Post Malone's project, where they're categorizing it as pop because it had a lot of pop sounds on it.
Yeah, and also I would say even for him though, there's an audience that they're trying to obviously capture. Right. So like that plays into it too. I mean, also he's not even the only person that happened to recently. Extension, a lot of people don't know that his last 2 projects were pop albums. Right. And they weren't.
They on the what was the AMAs? They categorized them under R&B and soul music, and they butched them up with Khalid and SZA, and he beat both of them, which I think is crazy. But that's like beside the point.
Yeah, it's just him at a pop level at that point. It's just like, to all the other, it's kind of reflective of just like, you still see that even if rap is still like the biggest genre, if you're a pop artist, they still view it a certain way. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so even with that situation, like, people still have a hard time saying SZA's pop, or have a hard time saying Khalid is, depending on what the song is. But just off rip, the way that they build the extension thing, just metadata works, to be honest.
Right. So you would say that you're kind of like you touch like each type of genre.
Yeah, I guess yeah, I would like describe myself as trying to be like a pop star.
Gotcha.
Because I feel like, because rap has become pop in a way, it's given rap artists an ability to like, it's like rap is like here now on the top of the totem pole, and it's like now we could just fuck with anything we want, and like whether it's like, I mean, Drake is kind of even a perfect example of it. Like he could touch reggae music, or he could do things and just kind of play a little bit more. And
like once you're at the top, there's the only way to go. Like you could keep going higher, but like people are gonna start kind of like branching out and doing different things
if you don't
and
want
experimenting.
People to feel like your sound is one-dimensional. Right. Your best bet is to like start playing with genres. Right. And just understand genres, because I mean, people could like your music for 1,000 different reasons. Like, you should be able to appeal to people that love R&B music, to people that love rock music, to people that, if you really want to have that commercial success and you really want to be out in front of these people at festivals and stuff like that, it just helps.
That's dope. So with that being said, you have your album coming out next week, and you have a show, which of course we got to promote it real quick. So tell the people like what's going on and what you got coming on next week.
I bet. So for the LVRBOY project, essentially the project's about just fighting for love. So like all the shoots and everything we did was like super boxing related. Like Everlast was looking out for me. They gave me a bunch of stuff.
That's dope. That's a big ass brand. That's
and it's dope. Weird because I'm a non-athlete. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like it was dope that they looked out for stuff like that. And as the show is basically next Friday, same day that the project comes out, and I'm basically doing it at a boxing gym in Williamsburg called Overthrow, and it's gonna be sick. I'm gonna perform in the ring. My producer and my other boy Z, they're gonna be doing the band stuff, and we're just gonna turn up.
That's dope. So you answered all my questions. I was gonna ask you if the theme of the album was like boxing theme, but that's perfect.
Yeah.
So
definitely is.
So you chose the name LVRBOY because like the whole album is about fighting for love and all that, right? So was that based off like any stories or anything like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's based off of like just a lot of past experiences, right? And I just wanted to really be able to create something that was very emotional and just very emotive. I feel like music sometimes doesn't really tap on certain things. And I think, it's a shame.
So you felt like more open and vulnerable on this new
I
project
definitely
than in the
wanted,
past.
Yeah, definitely.
That's dope. All right, cool. So let the people know where they can get it.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's going to be on all streaming services.
Yeah. Everywhere, literally. YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal.
And new single is out now.
Well, yeah.
New single is out now.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Let them know where they can follow you at, where they can find you.
Facts. Oh yeah, you can find me on at whoisoyabun, OYABUN, on all social media platforms. I even got my own. You got a Facebook page. You can also check out.
People need to utilize Facebook, man.
Facts.
I'm telling
check
you,
out
it's not dead yet.
the loverboy.com website, LVRBOY.com. Sign up for updates, newsletters, all of that. Just even hit me up, and yeah, stay tuned. There's a lot of stuff coming.
Dope. Thank you for pulling up today.
Yeah,
it's Oyabun on the radar.
Thanks, yo.